In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe.
Great new day to all my self-care family and friends. Welcome back to another Room to Breathe podcast. I am your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so glad that you guys have made space to be here with us today, to join us on our first day back after a 2-week break. Now, before we get into today's episode, I need you all to do me a quick favor. If you're feeling the vibe today, go ahead and show me some love by tapping that screen, like, comment, and most importantly, share this live out with someone who may need a little healing energy today. And if this is your first time here or you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that follow button. Subscribe to our channel so that way you're always tapped in when a new episode drops. I also want to personally invite you to check out our digital home at theselfcareclub.org, where you'll find everything from affirmative apparel to motivational merch and a bunch of free resources to help nourish your growth and remind you that you are supported every step of the way. Just know that you don't have to do this healing thing alone. We are healing in community, growing one breath, one moment, one day at a time. So today, give yourself permission to pause, to reflect, and to make space for peace, growth, and most importantly, for you. Now, if anything in today's episode hits home, drop a green heart in the chat. It is our way of saying, I'm healing, I'm growing, and I am showing up for me. Now, let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together. Today's topic is one that has just been heavy on my heart for the last few weeks because it's one that I feel like we all wrestle with at some point. And that's knowing when to let something die. What up, Coach? I see you, bro. I'm calling today's episode DNR, as in do not resuscitate. Not in the medical sense, but in the spiritual and emotional sense. See, sometimes God allows things to end. And I'm talking about relationships, friendships, jobs, habits, even old versions of yourself. And instead of accepting that closure, we immediately rush, in with our spiritual CPR kits, trying to breathe life into something that has already expired. Right? She ready? But family, what happens when God has already declared, do not resuscitate? So today we're going to unpack this together. We're going to talk about why letting go feels hard, why closure is necessary, and how trusting God in the death of things is the only way to receive new life. So let me just start by explaining this DNR, right? Most times when we hear DNR, we think of hospitals and doctors and life or death situations, right? As many of us know, DNR means do not resuscitate. And what that is a medical order that says if a person's heart stops, the team should not perform CPR to bring them back. And I know that's a very heavy decision, but I believe it's a decision that's also rooted in wisdom, right? Because it acknowledges when life has reached its natural conclusion. And, here's where I want to bring this home for us today, right? To bring it to us spiritually. There are things in our lives, again, relationships, habits, patterns, even mindsets, right? That God himself has allowed to die. And yet so many of us are out here trying to resuscitate what was never meant to breathe again. We keep texting back. We keep replaying the memory again and again. We keep rebuilding what God has already torn down. We keep resuscitating dead things, and then we wonder why we feel drained, stuck, heavy, right? But what if I told you that some things are supposed to die? That God in his love sometimes shuts doors, ends chapters, or even disconnects you from people, not to punish you, but to protect you. See, this episode is about learning to honor the DNR. It's about recognizing what God has allowed to end and refusing to bring it back to life. We need to begin to understand that not every death is a defeat. Sometimes it's deliverance. So I want to begin with let the struggle go, right? Like, just there's always this struggle to let go of things, right? And let's be real, letting go is one of the hardest things that you will ever do, right? We don't like endings. We want closure on our terms, not God's, right? Be honest. And so many of us, especially women, right? We're nurturers. So we pour, we patch, we fix. So we don't want things to end. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes your love can't save it. Your effort can't sustain it. Your prayers can't resurrect it. Not because God doesn't love you. Not because he's not listening. It's because he loves you too much to let you stay bound to something that is beneath your destiny. Let me say that again. It is not because he doesn't love you. It is not because he does not hear you. It is because he loves you too much to allow you to stay bound to something, someone, some idea, some thought that is beneath your destiny. I can remember a season where I was begging God to heal a relationship that was clearly dead. Okay? Every red flag was waving, but I was still pulling out my paddles, trying to shock it back to life. And God whispered, "You're performing CPR on a corpse. This isn't revival," right? It's not about revival. It's about release. And y'all, hear me when I say, everything that dies isn't a loss. Sometimes it's a liberation. I think about the Israelites leaving Egypt. Some of them wanted to go back because bondage was familiar to them. They had gotten used to it. But God closed that chapter. Egypt was dead to them. And yet they longed to resuscitate what he had delivered them from. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Sometimes, our Egypt shows up in our relationship. Sometimes it's a job, right? Sometimes it's the old version of you. And, we have to begin to understand, DNR isn't just a cute acronym, right? It's a spiritual lifestyle. It's a declaration. When we say DNR, we're really saying, I refuse to pour my energy into something that God has already closed. I'm going to break it down for you even further, right? I want to walk through the R's one by one. And as we go, I want you to notice which one is tugging at your spirit the most, because that's usually where your release work is waiting for you. So number one, I want you guys to put in the chat, do not respond. Do not respond. Hey, coach, welcome in, love. Do not respond, right? Why not start there? Many of us have a problem with responding when we shouldn't, okay? So not every call, text, what else? Hey, stalking Jesus, there is no restraining order. Miss Sherry, welcome in. Just in time. Miss Sherry, add do not respond to the chat for me. Because again, not every call, text, or DM deserves our energy. Some of us keep bleeding because we keep answering the phone when pain calls. Email, that part. Right? Every time pain calls on the line, we answer the phone, hello, please hurt me. Right? Just because somebody has access to your number doesn't mean that they should have access to your peace. Just because they have access to your email, right, doesn't mean that they deserve access to your peace. Think about Nehemiah building the wall, right? His enemies kept sending messengers to distract him, to pull him away from what his purpose was. And what did Nehemiah say? I am doing a great work, right? He said, I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. I cannot come down, right? That's the energy that you need, that DNR, do not respond. I want you to ask yourself, who or what do I keep responding to that I should be releasing, that I should be letting go of, right? Do not respond. Number 2, do not rebuild. Do not rebuild. Put that in the chat for me, family. Hey, Miss Thang, welcome in. Yes, now we got the DNR of do not rebuild, okay? Sometimes we grab bricks and we try to rebuild what God already tore down. But here's the truth. The foundation, if the foundation is cracked, if the structure wasn't stable, rebuilding only delays another collapse. So our relationships, our careers, even our mindsets, if God has already dismantled it, let it stay down. Okay? Don't spend your healing season chasing blueprints that are no longer fit for your life. Ask yourself, am I trying to rebuild something that wasn't safe to live in the first place? Do not rebuild. Come on, we're going to get through these this morning, y'all. Number 3, do not relive. DNR, do not relive. See, there's something called trauma replay, and it is real, right? How many nights have you laid in bed rehashing arguments word for word? Right? Reliving betrayals play by play. Let me tell you something. Reliving does not heal. It just reopens. We ain't reliving it and we ain't reopening it, y'all. DNR, do not relive it. Add the affirmation to your list. I honor my past, but I refuse to keep living in it. Yes, I honor my past, but I refuse to keep living in it. DNR, do not relive. What up, Sister Blue? Number 4, DNR, do not recommend. 10 out of 10, do not recommend. And listen, this one might sting a little. Because sometimes we hype up or we vouch for situations and people that we already know are not aligned. Okay, y'all, do not recommend. 10 out of 10. It's like recommending a restaurant you know that gave you food poisoning. Don't do it, right? Why? Why do we do that? Because we don't want to face the truth of the disappointment. But it is time for us to stop recommending what God has already revealed as toxic. Stop putting other people onto pain. Like, don't recommend something to me that's going to hurt me, and you knew it would hurt me. And then you say, oh, well, I thought you'd have a different outcome. What? You didn't. You knew it was toxic. If it made you sick, it was a good chance that it was going to make me sick too. Right? So ask yourself, where am I still speaking positively about what God has already exposed? You know it's not a safe place. Don't send somebody else there. Yes, Kale, 10 out of 10. Don't recommend, right? DNR, do not recommend. Number 5. Y'all ready? Do not reconnect. Y'all put that one in all caps. Do not reconnect. Because, honey, this one right here, let me just tell y'all, some phone numbers don't need to be saved. Some doors don't need to be reopened, okay? Every reconnection is not a reconciliation. You know, when Lot's wife looked back, she turned into a pillar of salt. Hey, cute one. Thank you so much for the gifts, love. Right? Do y'all remember that when Lot's wife looked back? How she turned into a pillar of salt? She couldn't step into her future because she was stuck staring at what was behind her. Don't get salty over reconnections, y'all. Okay? Kale, don't be salty over connections that God didn't authorize. Don't look back. I have a phrase that I always like to refer to when we say you keep your eyes on the road, right? Facing forward. You look in your rear view and you're only looking back to make sure that what's behind you isn't catching up with you, right? You can keep your gaze in the rear view, but keep your eyes on the road ahead of you. Do not get salty over reconnections that God didn't authorize. I want you to ask yourself, who or what am I tempted to reconnect with, even though I know that it is not life-giving? Thank you, River. Right? I know it is not life-giving. Why am I here? What am I doing? Why do I want that old thing back? Right? Why is it so important for me, James, Tara, to want to spin the block? I didn't get hurt enough the first time. Coach Regina, welcome in, Rich Risings. Y'all, so again, number 5, do not reconnect. Do not reconnect. Number 6. Yeah, I pass, right? 10 out of 10, we established we don't recommend it, Ghost, okay? Number 6, do not regret. Do not regret. Put that in the chat, y'all. Make sure y'all sipping y'all's water today because I'm going to be all in y'all's business. Do not regret. Let me tell y'all a thing about regret. Regret will rob you of your rest. Regret says, if I only would have stayed a little while longer, if I only would have fought a little harder, or if I only would have changed a little sooner, right? Let me tell you something. And this should free you. If it was supposed to last, it would have. Period. If it was what God meant for you, it would have been for you. It would have remained for you. Period. Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. That means even the heartbreak, even the wrong turn, even the wasted years, they're still working for your good. It didn't say some things. It says all things. So they are still working for your good. It is time for us to say, I release regret and receive wisdom. Right? No regrets. I'm stronger. What do you say? I'm stronger. I'm wiser. I'm better. Much, much better now. right? Yes, when Sherry said, I was just meditating Romans 8:28. It's a great reminder. And it starts with the beginning of the sentence, all things. Right, Miss Sherry? He said all things, not some of the things, not the good things, not the I enjoyed them moment things, but he said all things work together for the good. Meaning even the bad situations, even the toxic relationships, the abuse that we've endured, the betrayal, the whatever it is, all of those things are working together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose, right? All things. So again, number 6, DNR, do not regret. Number 7, do not rehash. Do not rehash. Sweet Soul said that's my favorite verse. I've got so many favorites, right? Scriptures for me are like Pringles. I can't stop at just one. Depends on what mood I'm in today. Sweet Soul. Number 7, do not rehash. Add that to the chat for me. What up, Nelly? Some of us rehash old wounds as if we're rehearsing a play, like it's a script for our life. Same story, same cast, same ending. But we have to understand that if we want a new outcome, we've got to stop rehearsing and rehashing the old. Rehashing keeps us anchored in yesterday when God was trying to sail us into tomorrow. He's trying to take us somewhere else. But if we keep rehashing it, all we can do is stay anchored and tied into yesterday, right? So I want you to think, what story do I keep telling myself that no longer serves my healing? What am I holding on to? Rehashing. Do not rehash. There's no point. Let it go, right? Let it go. Then, of course, number 8 is do not resurrect. Do not resurrect. This is the core one right here, you guys. Right? Right, Blue? Do not resurrect. What up, Ruffman? Let me tell y'all, resurrection belongs to God, not us. If something is supposed to live again, trust me, God will breathe life into it. But our job is to release the corpse, right? Not to camp out in the graveyard with CPR equipment. That's not our job. Thank you. Thank you, sweet soul. Right? Think about Lazarus. Jesus called him out of the tomb. Not his sisters, not his friends. Right? They rolled away the stone, but Jesus did the reviving. Right? So, family, release your tomb duty. If it's meant to rise, God will call it forth. If he means for that relationship to come back, he'll bring it back. If it was meant for you to have that job, he'll put you back there. And you know what? If he hasn't, let it rest. Another affirmation to add to your list today is, I do not resurrect what God has already laid to rest. That is situations, that is relationships, that is friendships, that is careers, that is mindsets. I am over it. I am no longer resurrecting what God has already put down and laid to rest. So again, number 8, do not resurrect. Number 9, do not repress. Do not repress. And yes, I know that this one is a tender one, right? Do not repress your feelings. See, some of us avoid grieving because we think it makes us look weak. Fellas, right? We suppress or repress our feelings because it makes us look weak. It makes us vulnerable. We think that once we show some sort of emotion or feelings that the devil is going to seep in, right? But what we have to understand is that unprocessed pain doesn't disappear. It just leaks. Oh, it's not just the fellas. I just wanted them to know that I see them too, Cardi. Because ladies, we do it too, right? We trying to be strong, keep it together, keep it all perfect and pretty and polished, right? But again, unprocessed pain doesn't disappear. Hey, CC, it leaks out of us. David cried out, Jesus wept, Job lamented, right? Grief is not the absence of faith. It is the evidence of humanity. So you have to feel it. You have to face it. You have to release it. I want you to ask yourself, what emotions am I repressing that need space to breathe? What am I holding on to that I need to give it room to breathe? Do not repress. Miss Blessed, welcome in, beautiful. Yes, I refuse to live my past. We hit that one. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. Leave it in the past, sis. Number 10, Kima, welcome in. Do not relinquish yourself. Do not relinquish yourself. And I want y'all to listen carefully. Do not abandon yourself in the process of trying to hold on to others. Don't shrink your worth. Don't dim your light. Don't water down your truth. Don't silence your voice. Do not relinquish yourself. I want you to understand that you are not required to lose yourself to keep someone or something alive. The only thing that God asks you to lay down is your will, right? Not your worth. It is written, not thy will, but the will of God. So the only thing that God is asking us to do is to simply lay down our will, not our worth. So I want you to say, I choose me. I honor me. I will not lose me. Hey, Miss Brand. I choose me. I honor me. And I will not lose me. Do not relinquish yourself. Ooh, y'all, I like number 11. Number 11's DNR is do not revolve. Do not revolve. Because listen, cycles will trick you into thinking that you're moving forward when really you're just spinning in circles. Right? Same pain, different face. Same disappointment, different year. It is time for us to stop orbiting our old lives and start stepping into the new ground. Right? Do not revolve. Again, we're not spinning the block. I'm not coming back to that. I let it go. I released it. Right? Why am I here again? It's like on National Lampoon's, I can't even remember which one it was, but they kept circling around and they kept seeing Big Ben. And they're like, oh, this is nice. Didn't we already see this? I don't have time to be spinning the block and going in circles. I seen it. I'm not doing it no more. Right? Thank you for sharing the live embroidered thoughts. So ask yourself, Where am I revolving instead of evolving? What do I keep spinning the block on? And what lesson have I not learned yet? No more, Cal. No more. So again, ask yourself, where am I revolving instead of evolving? Do not revolve. Number 12, do not rationalize. How many of us can admit to trying to rationalize something that we know good and well is very irrational? We try to make sense of the things that people do, right? We try to explain ourselves to people who have no intent on understanding us, right? Oftentimes we rationalize red flags. Well, he's struggling. She's trying. The job might get better. But rationalization is just delayed heartbreak. God doesn't need you to explain his no. He said what he said. The answer is no. He doesn't need you to explain that. Sometimes the why won't make sense until years later. Trust the closure now. Trust the closure now. Remind yourself that you don't need to rationalize God's direction. That do not rationalize. Okay? Number 13. We're almost there, y'all. Do not retreat. Y'all gonna be like, what? Just roll with me, y'all. Roll with me. Do not retreat. Put it in the chat. Do not retreat. When I say do not retreat, I mean do not go backwards simply because forward feels unfamiliar. See, healing is uncomfortable, but bondage is deadly. So pick your pill, red or blue, right? Yeah, healing is uncomfortable. Moving forward into the unknown can be scary. But staying trapped in bondage could be deadly. Which one you want? What do you want? See, I want you to stand firm. Thela Flair, welcome in, bro. Stand firm. Keep walking, even when it's scary. You know, remember that the wilderness is temporary. This unknown is temporary. Right? But the promised land is permanent. Thank you. That promised land is permanent. Do not retreat. I want you to ask yourself, where am I tempted to retreat instead of rising? Why do I feel so comfortable in this space? I can remember my pastor sharing a story about being growing up. And his parents would not buy him and his siblings new shoes until they outgrew the other ones. And, you know, it wasn't because they were a little worn. No, he said that you had to outgrow it. Spark Motive, welcome in. And he said that, you know, when he asked his parents, why can't we get new shoes now? You know, it's been 6 months or it's been whatever time frame. Why can't we get new shoes? His parents would always say, well, because you can still fit the other ones. And if I buy you new shoes, you know, when you get a new shoe, you've got to break it in, right? You got to get comfortable with the new shoe. And there are, you know, different rules that come with the new shoes. You can't wear them out to go play with your friends. And when you get home from school, you got to take them off. You got to clean them. You ain't got to do that to the old ones. So his parents felt like if you could still fit the old shoes, if I buy you new ones, all you're going to do is retreat to the old ones. So his parents wouldn't buy them new shoes until they outgrew them. And so he related that to God in our lives, that God is not going to bless us with the next thing until we've outgrown this current situation. Because what's the point of him giving us this additional blessing? What's the point of him, you know, elevating us to the next level when we haven't let this one go? So again, think about that. Do not retreat back to what's familiar just because it's comfortable. So ask yourself, where am I tempted to retreat instead of rising? Again, that was do not retreat, number 13. We are sliding into number 14, y'all. Our last DNR for today. Do not renegotiate. Do not renegotiate. And let me just tell y'all, if the United States doesn't negotiate with terrorists, why should I negotiate with things that are tearing me down? With things that are meant to destroy me? Right? Do not try to renegotiate God's terms. When he said no, he said what he said. No is very much a complete sentence in the spiritual world and on earth, okay? When he said no, it was about protection. When he closed it, it was for your good. Whether you understand it or not, it was for your good. We don't bargain with a God who sees the full picture. See, we don't see the full picture. So what we do is we trust him, right? We trust him. Period. End of sentence. Right, Carlin? Do not renegotiate. Yes, Miss Sherry. Yes. Miss Sherry said the children of Israel wanted to retreat back to the Egyptians when God had brought them out. Absolutely. No retreating, and we're not renegotiating. I do not renegotiate God's decisions. I just rest in them. Right, Carlin? I just rest in them. I just trust. Right? Be still and know God got it. I ain't worried about it. God got me. Right? Y'all know that? So again, family, that's our DNR breakdown. Just to go back to the beginning. Do not respond. Do not rebuild. Do not relive. Do not recommend. Do not reconnect. Do not regret. Do not rehash. Do not resurrect. Do not repress. Do not relinquish yourself. Do not revolve. Do not rationalize. Do not retreat. And please do not renegotiate. 14 reminders for you that God's closures are holy. 14 ways to stop draining your breath on expired things. Now, family, let's make it even more personal, right? I just walked you through a whole list of R's in my DNR list. But the truth is, you don't need all 14 of those to hit you. You only need one, right? The one that God is putting his finger on in your life right now. So I want you to pause. I want you to take a breath. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale from your mouth. I want you to put your hand over your heart if you can. Close your eyes if you're in a safe space to do so. And I want you to ask yourself quietly, which R is God highlighting for me today? Is it do not respond because you've been giving energy to people, places, or things that are draining you? Is it do not rebuild because you keep trying to put back together something God already tore down? Is it do not relive because you're replaying the same heartbreak in your mind, keeping yourself stuck in yesterday's pain? Or maybe it's do not reconnect because your spirit knows you don't need to go back, but your flesh misses what's familiar. Take a breath. Which one stirred something in you? Maybe for you, it's do not regret because you're still carrying the guilt and the shame about a decision that truthfully taught you what you needed to know. Maybe it's do not rehash because you've told the same painful story so many times that it's become a part of your identity. Family, this moment where you stop hearing my voice and you start hearing his, I want you to pay attention to the tightening in your chest, perhaps the tears in your eyes, or even that small uh-oh in your gut. That's usually where God is speaking to you. So I'll ask you again, which R is God putting his finger on for you today? Don't rush it. Let it land. Write it in your journal. And if you don't, just make a note in your phone, right? Because awareness is the first step to release. And hear me when I say it is not about shame. It is about clarity. God isn't pointing this out to condemn you. He's pointing this out to free you, to liberate you, to empower and encourage you. Because once you name it, you can release it. Hey, butterfly. Once you recognize it, you can resist it. And once you surrender it, you can step into your new life. See, here's the beauty of this whole conversation. God never asks you to release without preparing to replace. He doesn't say, do not resuscitate and then leave you on E. It's to make space or to clear a space for what's alive, aligned, and anointed for your future. So let's talk about what happens when you actually honor the DNR, when you refuse to go back, when you stop trying to revive what he already allowed to die. Number one, you protect your peace, first and foremost. When you stop responding to every call, text, or situation that doesn't serve you, suddenly you notice how much quieter your spirit feels. Peace becomes your new normal. Philippians 4:7 calls it the peace that surpasses all understanding. And trust me when I say, when you stop resuscitating the dead things, that peace starts wrapping around you like a warm blanket. So I want to remind you that your peace is precious and you need to protect it at all costs. Number two, you start to preserve your energy. Let's be real. Reviving dead things is exhausting. Right, Ghost? Right? Revolving dead things is exhausting. It is draining mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, draining, right? When you stop pouring energy into what's expired, you finally have the strength to pour into what's alive. And what's alive is your purpose, your passions, your healing. Think about it. How much of your energy have you been wasting on CPR for something that doesn't even want to breathe? When you honor the DNR, you take your energy back. Ask yourself, where could my energy go if I just stopped pouring into what is already dead? Yes, Ghost. Honor the DNR. Thank you. Thank you so much. Number 3, you position yourself for God's provision. Right? Family, we know that the Bible says that God is doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? When you keep trying to resurrect old things, your hands stay too full to receive the new. But when you release, you are repositioning yourself to receive. That's the power of the DNR. You make room for the provision, for the opportunities, for the relationships that God has already prepared for you. So I want you to say, I release what was so I can receive what's next. I release what was so I can receive what's next. See, y'all can have that old thing. I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't like it. Okay? I release what was so I can receive what's next. I don't even know what it is. And you know, when you think about that, y'all, it sounds kind of crazy. It don't even matter what it is. I know that God got a blessing with my name on it. So I got to let that old thing go so I can see what he got up there. Because we already established a little while back that all things are working out in my favor. All things are working out for my good. So I release what was so I can receive what's next. Yes, Kale. And, you know, another thing that we gain from honoring a DNR is we begin to prioritize our healing, right? Every time you resist the urge to rebuild, reconnect, relive, you're prioritizing your healing. You're telling yourself, I matter enough to move forward. I matter enough to move forward. That is self-love in action. My girl Carlin knows a little bit about this action of love, right? That is self-love in action. And let's be clear, healing isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about refusing to let it control the rest of your story. I'm not going to allow my past, what I've done, what I've been through, to dictate where I'm going. I no longer identify as that woman, that girl, that person. Right? I have evolved. I am growing. So I want you to ask yourself, what does prioritizing your healing look like in this season? And lastly, number 5, you prepare for resurrection God's way. And I think that this is the moment where it gets deep, right? We have to understand that sometimes God doesn't bring things back to life. But notice, when he does, it's for his glory, not for your comfort. Lazarus didn't rise because his sisters begged hard enough. He rose because Jesus called him forth. So when you honor the DNR, you're not blocking his resurrection. You're preparing for the right kind of resurrection. Yes, God's way, Kale. If it's meant to live again, God himself will breathe on it. But until then, you rest. You rest. I trust God to resurrect only what is aligned with his will for me. Again, not thy will, not what I want, but what he wants for me. So for my journalers, the people who like to journal is what I'm trying to say. For those of you who are journaling, here's something simple that you can do this week. take out a sheet of paper and write DNR list at the top. And I encourage everyone to do this. Right? Write DNR list at the top of the paper. And underneath, I want you to list people, situations, habits, mindsets that God has been nudging you to release. And next to each one, I want you to think about which R applies. Maybe it's do not reconnect. Perhaps it's do not retreat or do not rationalize. Maybe there's an R that we didn't cover today. So you're going to make your own DNR list. You're going to write down all the names, the places, the people, the situations, the mindsets, everything that you feel like God is just kind of nudging you about. And you're going to identify which R it is in your life. Once you finish your list, I want you to pray over it. I want you to ask God to remove or reveal. Either he removes it himself, fine, nothing else for you to do. Or you ask him to reveal it so you can handle removing it yourself. Okay? You pray over it. And basically we're asking God to seal your release. Then I want you to fold it up. I want you to tuck it in your Bible. Or for some of you, burn it safely as a symbolic act. Tear it into little pieces. Let that be your declaration that you will not resuscitate what God is calling you to put to rest. Family, honoring the DNR is not a punishment. It is protection. It's not loss. It's alignment. And every time you choose not to respond, not to rebuild, not to relive, you're choosing yourself, your healing, and your future. And here's the promise. What God has for you will never require you to beg, to force, or to resuscitate. What's for you will breathe on its own. Now, family, we've walked through this DNR together. We've named it. We've unpacked it. We sat with it. Now it is time for us to release it. Because let's be real, awareness without action is just information. And I really want this to serve us today. Healing only happens when you choose to move different. And today I believe that God brought you guys in here, not just to listen, but to let go. So right now, wherever you are, I want you to take another deep breath, an intentional breath. Inhale through your nose. Hold it. And now exhale from your mouth. Again, another intentional breath. Breathe in. Exhale. That breath right there is your reminder that release is possible. That peace is possible. That freedom is possible. Now, I want us to declare this together out loud if you can, or in your spirit if you're listening in a quiet place. Repeat after me. I will not respond to what drains me. I will not respond to what drains me. I will not rebuild what God has torn down. I will not rebuild what God has torn down. I will not relive yesterday's pain. I will not relive yesterday's pain. I will not recommend or hype up what God has revealed as harmful. I will not recommend or hype up what God has revealed as harmful. I will not reconnect with what is not aligned. I will not reconnect with what is not aligned. I will not regret what God has already redeemed. I will not regret what God has already redeemed. I will not rehash the old story. I will live a new one. I will not rehash the old story. I will live a new one. I will not resurrect what God has called to rest. I will not resurrect what God has called to rest. I will not repress my emotions. I will feel, heal, and release. I will not repress my emotions. I will feel, heal, and release. I will not relinquish myself to keep something that was never mine. I will not relinquish myself to keep something that was never mine. I will not revolve in cycles when I'm called to evolve. I will not revolve in cycles when I am called to evolve. I will not rationalize red flags. God's no is enough. I will not rationalize red flags. God's no is enough. I will not retreat when my healing calls me forward. I will not retreat when my healing calls me forward. And lastly, I will not renegotiate God's boundaries. I will not renegotiate God's boundaries. Family, that is our DNR declaration right there. That is the spiritual boundary line that you get to draw today. I want to do, I think I want to do just a little visualization or breath work moment for us. Because today may have been heavy for some people, and I want to make sure that I'm not leaving you in that space. We talk about the difficult subjects, and we discuss some of our triggers and things, but I never want to leave you in a dark space or in a heavy space alone. So again, I want you to close your eyes if you can. Imagine holding in your hands that thing that you've been trying to resuscitate. See it clearly. Feel the weight of it. Now, I want you to imagine laying it at the feet of God, placing it on the altar, letting it go. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to release it. Let your breath carry it out of your body, out of your spirit. Deep breath in. Let it go. Say to yourself, it is finished. I will not resuscitate what God has allowed to rest. That is your freedom moment. And when it's comfortable for you, I want you to open your eyes. And know that you didn't come, just to hear a word today. You came here for a release. And today I want you to walk away lighter. I want you to know that you do not have to beg for closure. You don't have to force revival. You don't have to explain God's decisions. You just have to breathe, to trust, and to move forward. So here's your call to action this week. As we discussed, make your DNR list. Write down the things that you are no longer giving CPR to. Pray over it. Declare it. State your DNR affirmations out loud. Share, one of your R's in the comments right now, or go back to the replay and add your comment. You can come over to the Self-Care Club community and leave a review with your comment if you want to. But I want you to share it because we are healing out loud. We are doing this together, independently, but collectively. Okay? Remember, you're not walking this journey alone. We're healing in community. One breath, one boundary, one bold step at a time. As we wrap up, I'm going to leave you with these final affirmations. You are worthy of release. You are safe to let go. You do not have to resuscitate what no longer serves you. It is okay for you to trust God's closure because they are protections and redirections. You are free. You are whole. And you are moving forward. Let's take one final deep breath in. Inhale all that peace. Exhale and release. Now, before we part ways, let me leave you all with a little love and light. As always, I encourage you to keep breathing through the highs, the lows, and every moment in between. I want you to keep choosing peace, even when it feels just out of reach. And to know that here at the Self-Care Club, you will always be seen, always valued, and always supported. So don't be afraid to take up space, speak your truth, and make a little room for you to breathe. I love each and every one of you to life, and I am praying that your day today is not just amazing, but aligned, intentional, and yes, on purpose, filled with purpose. This has been another Room to Breathe podcast, and I cannot wait to connect with you all again soon. Until next time.